graphical representation of all the events that are going in during labor. Maternal condition, what is the maternal condition, what is the fetal condition, how the labor is progressing, progressing normally or abnormally, that's the partograph. So here most important thing is how the labor is progressing. And second thing comes the what's the fetal condition, and third thing comes how is the maternal condition. These things are seen in the partograph. Main thing is progress of labor. That is the main thing. Complication, because there are risk of prolonged labor. So what are the complications in case of prolonged labor? Maternal exhaustion can be there, increased incidence of C-section, birth canal injuries if forceps are used, increased risk of rupture of uterus, PPH, puerperal sepsis, fetal, in case of fetus, fetal distress can be there, chorioamnitis, neonatal sepsis, and intracranial hemorrhage. What is partograph? It is composite graphical record of progress of labor on a single sheet of paper. If we plot it like in one page, you are writing how much dilatation is there, how is the effacement, then in second page you are writing the fetal condition, third page you are writing the maternal BP pulse, so that you can't assess the condition in just one at one glance, because earlier, because the load of normal delivery, load of patient was very high, so we wanted something graphical, so that just at one look I see that and I can assess she's progressing normally, abnormally. You don't have to go through many pages of the patient file record. Okay, just one paper, just one look, and you can know it is going normally, abnormally. That's why it was invented. Earlier was the normal partograph. Now is we normally uses this. This is modified partograph. Okay. What is the advantage to assess labor at glance, early detection of abnormal progress of labor, prevention of prolonged labor, recognition of CPD long before obstructed labor, can allow time and discussion of further management of labor. Like if it is not progressing normally, we can augment it, we can give oxytocin, we can, or if there is prolonged labor or there is meconium stain like or fetal heart sound is decreasing, then we can go for termination of the pregnancy or labor. Make observation and recording of fetal-maternal condition more objectively. Early recognition of fetal-maternal problems, highly effective in reducing complications for prolonged labor for the mother, like PPH, sepsis, uterine rupture, etc., and for the newborn, death and nausea infection. Reduce incidence of cesarean rate. Facilities handover procedure, like I was on duty say for 12 hours. Obviously nobody can be duty for like 3 many labor patient can go for labor or can undergo the labor pain for 3 continuous days or 72 hours. Some patient going for 48 hours. So no single person can be present or do duty for that continuous time. So there is a thing of handover. When we are wanting a patient, my duty is over, now second doctor comes. So how will she find out ki what was the progress? So this is easy to hand over. This is this, and you can now monitor this patient, because so handover process were much easier after this partograph. There is one major disadvantage, like uh, there is sometimes increased rate of cesarean section if we strictly follow this. Okay, there is increased rate of cesarean section in many patients, but that is not actual disadvantage. This is earlier partograph. So what are the stages of labor? First you need to know. There's the first stage of labor. It starts from the onset of true labor pains to full dilatation of the cervix. In multigravida, obviously, who has already delivered many babies, it is shorter, 6 to 8 hours. And in primigravida, who is going to deliver for the first time, who is undergoing labor pains for the first time, it is much longer, 12 to 16 hours. Approx, say, double this, 6, 12 or 8, 16, double of this. Second stage of labor starts from full dilatation of the cervix to delivery of the baby or fetus. It is 1 to 2 hours in primigravida. In multigravida, it is around half an hour. Okay. In third stage of labor, it starts from the delivery of the baby to complete expulsion of placenta and membranes. It is normally about 30 minutes. Okay, and one more stage is there. Fourth stage is very important, observational period, that is 1 to 2 hours after delivery. So we can monitor for any PPH is occurring or not. Earlier, what we used to do, we delivered it, we used to shift her to ward. But what the important time period was lost. If she's having bleeding baby in the ward, nobody is going to see her. That's why observational period is very important. After delivery, you have to observation for 1 to 2. That is critical time. If PPH occurs, you can manage it well when there and then. Okay. So this is very important, and this came in your seniors exam this time, your pre-prof. Okay, this was the question, or most of the students were able to write this but were not able to write this. Okay. So this is the modified partograph. So the on this upper part there is the mother information. In the second part there is the fetal Wilming, fetal heart rate, amniotic fluid, character of the amniotic fluid, color of the amniotic fluid, and molding is present or absent, or what is the grading of the molding. And mother information, when what's her gravida, primary or multi, or what was the time of admission, and when the membranes ruptured. The time of rupture of membrane is very important. Here it is, rupture of membrane is written. Now the second part is the progress of labor. This is the dilatation of the cervix, and this is the descent of the head. Okay, and this is the uterine contraction. In this axis there is time, and this axis, y-axis, there is dilatation of the cervix, and in x-axis there is dilatation, time in hours. Okay, one big square, or this two squares are equal to 1 hour, and one small square is equal to half an hour or 30 minutes. Or here one square equals to, say from here, one square equals to 1 centimeter of dilatation of cervix on the y-axis. So this is the time. Time is only in the middle of the graph, and according to this time all the things are plotted. Okay, and this is the contraction of the uterus. How is the contraction, mild, moderate, or severe? You will plot it over here. Then is the oxytocin unit per liter in drops per minute. And this is the other drugs given over here, like if she is giving Mexelf, if she has been given Labetalol or any IV fluid, then you will write it here. This is the maternal condition, BP, pulse rate, and urine. What is condition of urine? What is the temperature of the patient? This is the maternal condition. Okay, maternal well-being. And in urine you need to see for the albumin, glucose, and acetone, and urine output. So this is the main. So now coming on one to one, patient details, name, gravida parity. You can take one graphs each. So name of the patient, gravida, parity, hospital number, details, registration number, date and time of admission, time of rupture of membrane. Now fetal condition, here we see the fetal heart rate. We see the fetal heart rate that is monitored every 30 minutes or every half an hour. The Likert, if the membrane are present or absent, you have to write intact means I, and if ruptured means R, and the Likert is clear or not. Clear means C, and if it is blood stain is B, meconium stained is M, and if it is blood stain is B. Now molding of the fetal skull bones. Molding for molding, there is some mnemonic stone. Okay, grade 1, sorry, grade 0, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. 0, grade 0 means separated, the sutures are separated. Grade 1 means they are just touching each other. Okay, just touching each other. The fetal sutures are just touching each other. Grade 2 means, O means overlapping. They are overlapping. Okay, they are overlapping, but you can separate it, separable. Grade 3 means, N means not separable. You can't separate them. Okay, this is the mnemonic stone for the grade of molding. So amniotic fluid, color of the amniotic fluid, I means intact, C clear, M meconium stain, B means blood stain. Molding grade 0, 1, 2, 3, I already told you. The presence of increased molding of head is high in case of CPD. If CPD is there or bad pelvis is there or narrow pelvis is there, you will get molding in that case because the space is less and fetus baby has to deliver in that small space. Molding is a state of reduction or loss of space between skull bones of the fetus. So this is the fetal heart rate chart by dot. Then you can join the dot and you can see if it is going normally or abnormally. What is a normal fetal heart rate? 160. 110 to 160 is the normal range of fetal. You can be, if anything is being asked you in the exam, give a range. Okay, 160 is not absolute value. It ranges from 110 to 160. If it is less than 110, that means bradycardia is happening. If it is more than 160, that is tachycardia of the fetus is happening. Caput, molding and Leica. Now, the central part of the partograph, that is progress of labor. Cervical dilatation is plotted as cross sign and descent of head is taken as 0 sign. And descent of head we take it as fifth of the fingers palpable per abdomen. Okay, 5 by 5, 4 by 5, 3 by 5, 2 by 5 according to that. And uterine contraction and fetal position. Cervical dilatation, it is done every 4 hours and we start the partograph after 4 centimeter of dilatation, that is active phase of labor. After 4 centimeter dilatation, before 4 centimeter it is latent phase and partograph is plotted after active phase, that is start of active phase, that is 4 centimeter only, not before that. In many WHO partograph, nowadays many hospitals take 6 centimeter as the starting point, but now here we take it 4 centimeter as the starting point of the partograph, that is active phase. This is the alert line and this is the action line. If any patient is undergoing labor smoothly, progress is very good, then she will be on the left side of this line. Okay, if she crosses this line, that means there is some slowing of the progress of labor, and if she crosses this action line, that means you have to take some action, you have to do something. This is 4 centimeter of cervical dilatation. You can cross here if the patient comes at 4 centimeter dilatation. After 4 hours, you will see like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. If after 4 hours she is like 8 centimeter dilated, this is very good. Okay, she is with the alert type. This is going normally. But if after 4 hours you see that dilation is still 4 centimeter, that means you need to worry. You need to do something. Either you can augment it, or you will see the fetal heart rate condition, the color of the Leica, if there is meconium stain, there is bradycardia, and patient is still 4 centimeter dilated, and then you need to do something. You have to terminate the delivery or labor. And this is the descent of head. It is plotted at 0. Yeah, here we can plot it as 5 by 5, this is 4 by 5, 3 by 5, 2 by 5, 1 by 5, 0 by 5. Okay, and this is the time in hours. One small square is half an hour, one big square is 1 hour. Okay, this one square is 1 centimeter. Okay. This is the fifth. 5 by 5 means completely above this is the pelvic brim, and how much the fetal head is palpable above the pelvic brim, you are writing it as 5 by 5 or 0 by 5. Because nothing is palpable, you will write 0 by 5. No, head is not palpable. If whole of the head is palpable, you will write 5 by 5. If you can just palpate the sinciput, this glabella sinciput, you can't palpate the occiput, you will write 1 by 5. Or that this is palpated with difficulty. Okay. 2 by 5 means sinciput is felt and occiput is just felt. Okay. 3 by 5 means sinciput is easily felt, obviously it is well above the pelvic rim, and occiput is felt easily. Okay. 4 by 5 means sinciput is well above, very high, and occiput is felt. 5 by 5 means obviously ballotable, easily, completely above the pelvic rim. So this is the descent of head. But this is written as fifth of finger, but when we normally see patient in a labor room, we can also do PV examination to see the dilatation of the cervix and the station of the head. For PV examination station, we write it as 0, that is ischial spine, -1 above 1 centimeter above ischial spine, -2 2 centimeter above, and if 1 centimeter below the ischial spine is +1, 2 centimeter below is +2. Okay, +2 is good, like it is reaching perineum, and after +2 is the crowning. Okay. And now coming on to the uterine contraction, it is plotted as mild, moderate or severe, or weak contraction, moderate contraction, good contraction. If it is weak, we will write it as plain or dot 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 dot. Moderate will just do the lines, slanting lines, and good contraction means we will just fill it up completely black. Here you can see this is moderate and this is good or severe contraction. Okay, or this is moderate, and dot 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 is mild contraction. How you will say it is weak if it lasting less than 20 seconds? How you can say moderate, lasting for 20 to 40 seconds? If it is lasting for more than 40 seconds, that is good contraction. So what's the significance of this squares? How many contractions are occurring per 10 minutes? If 2 contractions are occurring per minute, you will just label 2 squares. If 4 contractions are occurring every 10 minutes, you will label 4 squares. Okay. So this is the meaning of these squares and how you are plotting this squares. What is a good uterine contraction? If any contraction is lasting for more than 40 seconds and occurring more than 3 times per 10 minutes, it is a good uterine contraction. Okay. Now coming on the oxytocin drip, here you will write unit per liter. Normally we give 2.5 unit per liter, that is 2.5 units given in 500 ml/ns, that will be 2.5 unit per liter. And we can titrate the droplets. It is started at around 6 to 8 drops per minute, then titrated to 15 to 20 drops per minute according to the contraction. The recording can be made at the interval of 30 minutes as the uterine contraction. Uterine contraction and oxytocin are monitored every 30 minutes. In cervical dilatation and descent of head every 4 hours. You will not do PV every half an hour. You can't do. You should not do, because you will introduce infection. Every PV consumption you will introduce the infection. That's why the rate of, yes, you can remember by this, cervical dilatation you have to check every 4 hours. You can't do that frequently. That is a troublesome process, and that will increase the chance of infection. That's why it is done every 4 hours, unless until there are some other indications, like there is many contraction is very tachysystole is there or hypercontraction is there, then you have to do the PV. Otherwise you will do it 4 hourly in normally progressive labor. After that, drugs, whatever drugs are given, you will write it over here, and whatever IV fluids are being given. Pulse, BP. Pulse is recorded every 30 minutes and marked with a dot. BP is recorded every 4 hourly. Okay. So cervical dilatation, descent of head or BP are recorded every 4 hourly. Half an hourly, most of the other things are recorded every half an hourly. Temperature recorded, this is different. Temperature recorded every 2 hours. And urine volume analysis of protein and acetone, every time urine is passed, not every 1 hourly or 2 hourly. Every time the urine is passed only. I will just tell you one example. This was the patient, her dilatation was 4 cm over admission. After 4 hours, her dilatation was still 4 cm. So, you saw the contraction, it was just mild contraction and the contraction was decreasing. And here you saw that the rupture of membrane was there, okay, and it was clear. But when again after 4 hours you did the PV examination, it was still 6 centimeter dilated. Like it was still clear. Fetal heart sound was good. That's why we are not doing anything. But when you saw that Microneum stain is liker is there, fetal heart rate is dropping, then obviously you need to terminate, because it has crossed the action line very well from to the right side. So you have to take some action. So cesarean section was done in this patient due to Microneum stain liker and bradycardia. So here you did the PV examination. It was 4 centimeter. After 4 hours, you did PV examination. It was 6 centimeters. Some dilatation was there, but descent was not there. It was 3 by 5. It was 3 by 5. Still 3 by 5. Then after 4 hours, you did the PV examination. It was still 6 centimeter. Okay, and you did the fetal heart sound, and you did the PV examination. It was fetal heart sound was dropping, or it was say 90 beats per minute. It was bradycardia. The liquor was Meconium stated, molding was there, 3 plus, very important. That means there is some kind of obstruction is there, either CPD can be there. So there is arrest of labor. So in this case, cesarean section was done. Although the contraction was very good, then also the dilatation was not progressing, the baby head was not descending, and the fetal condition was deteriorating. That's why you did the cesarean section. And here you did PV examination. It was 4 centimeter. You did after 2 hours. You again did. Then ARM was done. Liker was clear. You did PV examination. Here it was 6 centimeter, and liker was still clear. Fetal heart sound was very good, because here the dilatation was not that good. You started oxytocin. Okay, oxytocin was started. The contraction not increased. Earlier it was very less or mild or weak contraction was there. Now after oxytocin it increased. And when we started oxytocin, the progress was very good. The descent was very good. It was 2 by 5, then 0 by 5, and here dilatation was 10 centimeter. Okay, after 4 hours. So baby delivered, healthy baby delivered. So this is the double different disorders of progress of labor that you can read later on. Now electronic patograms are also used. Now this is suppose I will give you one example. Suppose a patient presented to you and she was 4 centimeter dilated. You did the PV, membranes was intact, contraction was mild. Okay, you did PV examination after 4 hours. Fetal heart sound were very good, normal. There was 130 beats per minute. Membrane was intact. After 4 hours, it was still intact. You did ARM. Okay, you did ARM, like it was clear. After 4 hours, you again did PV. Dilatation was just 5 centimeter. Contraction was still mild. Okay, or weak contraction was there, or it was just 2 contraction per 10 minutes. So will you do anything? It has crossed the action line now. Obviously, it is still 5 centimeter after 8 hours. It is still 5 centimeter. Will you do anything? Fetal heart sound is good. Okay, you did ARM, like it was clear. You need to augment the labor. Obviously, contraction is not good. Fetal heart sound is good. So you need not to hurry up. Fetal heart sound is deteriorating. If fetal heart sound is deteriorating and or Meconium stain like is there, you need to hurry up. Okay. Otherwise, you can augment the labor. Okay. One other condition, like earlier told you, you did ARM. Say after 4 hours, same patient 4 centimeter. After 4 hours, you did ARM, and it was Meconium stain liker, and fetal heart sound was still good. So, will you go for cesarean section, or you will go for normal? Try for normal delivery. Meconium stain liker is there, mind you, but fetal heart sound is good, 130 beats per minute. Contraction is moderate. Okay, 3 contractions per 10 minutes. you will try to augment it. If 4 cm dilatation is there, if fetal heart sound is good, you will augment it. If after 2 hours, in this case, because there is an emergency, you can do PV in 2 hours. Okay, you will not wait for 4 hours because myocardium state Leica is already there. So you want to hurry up. If progress is there, you will go normally. If there is no progress even after 2 hours, then you can go for cesarean section if fetal heart sound deteriorates or decreases or bradycardia is there. Okay. Or if you suspect CPD in any patient, like in one of the examples, you will go for cesarean section because you have no other options if molding is 3 plus. Okay, so this was the partograph. You in exam, you will be surely given one partograph and it holds around 20 marks. Huh? You will do PV examination. During PV examination, you will monitor 3-4 things. First is the cervical dilatation. What is the dilatation? Second, you will monitor the effacement of the cervix. Normal cervix is long, but as the effacement, cervix will merge with the lower uterine segment, so it will shorten. So that is called as effacement. How much percentage is the effacement? That is given in the Bishop's score, according to Bishop's score. Then you will see the condition of the membrane. It is intact or ruptured. If ruptured, what is the condition of the Leica? So when the membrane is ruptured, then only you can see the molding. Okay, molding is there or not. If the fetal, have you seen the fetus in our department? You already have skull bones na in anatomy. So skull bones, skull bones you can in fetus obviously there is anterior fontanelle, posterior fontanelle. So there you can easily feel it. In normal adult adult skull you can't feel that especially, but in fetal skull because there is foramen or anterior fontanelle and posterior fontanelle, you can feel the sutures. There is normally small gap is there because it is just forming the forming phase, so you can feel the gap. Normally there is just just halka normal gap is there, so this is normal, but you can see this is overlapping, you can't separate it, that is grade 3. Okay, if it is just touching it, normally there is gap because there is fluid is there in the head, and there is bulging can be there in the hydrocephalus. You can see the bulging of the membranes, and in say you can see the condition of the hydration, fetal hydration. Dehydrated fetus will have constricted membranes, and in hydrocephalus there will be proper bulging of the fontanelles. Acha, when the anterior fontanelle closes and when the posterior fontanelle closes. Posterior, which one closes earlier? Posterior fontanelle or anterior fontanelle? Huh? And it closes earlier. Anterior, posterior closes at around term. So when you will examine the term fetus, posterior fontanelle will be already closed. Anterior fontanelle closes by 18 months, 24 months, okay. 18 months normally. If the fetus is well flexed, head is well flexed, which fontanelle you will be able to palpate? So, because there are 3 sutures line is there, lambda suture is there, so you can easily feel the molding, if molding is there or not. So that is easy way to, when the fetus head is well flexed, so you will be able to, because it is flexed, you will be able to palpate the posterior fontanelle, and this sagittal suture you will be able to palpate during PV examination. And you can also palpate if CPD is there, there will be caput. Caput succedaneum can be there in case of CPD or obstruction, obstructed liver. You can feel that. Okay. So go in your rooms and then revise by reading your OBS book. Which book do you have, Arupaji sir? Huh? Whichever book you can revise, but you have to revise because it carries 20 marks in exam. Okay, and I can't show you each one of this because these will be given in exam. So I have just shown you an example from here. In exam, different scenarios will be given, and you will have to tell what you will do or what. Mainly, you need to know the significance of all the findings. Mainly, If you are not able to just tell the decision making point, we don't expect you to take the decision, but you need to tell ki what is happening. At least you need to tell that. Okay. It is very scoring because everything is written over there. It is very scoring. You need to revise this. Everything is written in the graph. There is nothing to hide. You can see and tell. Okay. It is done manually. We do it manually. Electronic is done nowadays in many hospitals, but we do it manually only.